The Panther Pregame. I'm Camden Hurst.
And I'm Gabriella Radburn. We are right in the heat of a busy day of Panthers basketball.
That's right, the women's team just wrapped up their matchup against the Wofford Terriers, and the men's team is getting ready to face off against the Everett Cougars.
Tonight we're joined by Brian Hanway and Peyton Yaus live at the Nido and Mariana Cubane Arena, where the men's team is warming up, and they are ready to give you all of the insight right from the court.
But before we hear from them, one of our reporters, Nick Allen, got the chance to recap the women's win over Wofford, 81-73. Let's take a look.
I'm Nick Allen, and I'm here at the Nido and Mariana Cubane Arena for the women's basketball game between the High Point Panthers and the Wofford Terriers. Both teams came into the game at 1-0. High Point got that big win in the season opener against Johnson C. Smith, 84-26. They came into this game with a slow start, trailed in the first quarter, trailed at halftime 39-35, and then Macy Spencer really got it going in the third quarter, went on a 6-0 run to take the lead. She finished the third quarter with 11 points. The junior, the transfer from UNLV, Chelsea Banbury has talked about it before, how big of an impact player she is going to be for this team. She had 19 points in the first game against Johnson C. Smith, and she had a huge game tonight. Finished with 24, like I mentioned, those 11 points coming in the third quarter, finished with 24 points, 5 rebounds. The senior, Nevaeh Zavala, had a humongous game as well. She finished with 15 points and 7 rebounds. The Big South preseason player of the year has had a lot of momentum coming into the season, a lot on her plate, and she has really stepped up in these first 2 games and lived up to that expectation of being the Big South preseason player of the year. And then Shauna Paxey, the senior, the hustle player for Banbury. She finished with 17 points and 7 rebounds. All around, great game for the Panthers. They end up winning 81-73 here in the Nido and Mariana Cubane Arena. Fantastic game for the Panthers. They moved to 2-0, and the Wofford Terriers moved to 1-1. For Panther Pregame, I'm Nick Allen.
Thanks, Nick. The women continue to dominate the court after coming off an 84-26 win on Monday against the Johnson C. Smith Golden Bulls. Shauna Paxey absolutely killed the second quarter after coming off the bench and locking in the defense to get things started.
Aaliyah Collins was also subbed back into the game during the second quarter, helping the Panthers come back from a 12-point deficit, making this a 3-point game. Collins had 19 points and 3 assists to really pick up the pace for this Panthers offense.
Along with Collins, Macy Spencer, the junior transfer from UNLV, was able to put up 14 points for the offense. Spencer is going to be a key addition to the team this year after playing in 23 games as a sophomore for the Lady Rebels.
Coming off of our women's win earlier today, Panther Pregame had the chance to hear from Coach Chelsea Banbury and Macy Spencer.
Any given night, it could be anyone's night. We don't know whose it is going to be, and I love that about this team because I think we're really deep. But you know, Shauna and Brecken really gave us the jolt that we needed to keep us in the game, and then that first 5 minutes of the second half, you know, we were able to separate and you know, kind of make a statement with that, and then keep the lead the rest of the way. So I'm not happy with our execution for 40 minutes, but I am happy with the fact that we found a way to fight and come back and end up getting the win.
It was a slow start coming out, but my teammates, they kept feeding me, they kept telling me to shoot. We had Shauna, Brecken, they were just giving us a lot of energy. We pushed the ball a lot in transition because of them, got a lot of stops and rebounds because of Shauna and Brecken. So I think a lot of my shots come from them and just my teammates.
The men's team is also coming off of a 97-71 win over Furman on Monday night, led by Rob Martin, who had a game high of 22 points, while Owen Aquino and Conrad Martinez each had 17 points.
Cameron Fletcher also pitched in for the Panthers, having a solid outing of 11 points and 10 rebounds to make this his first double-double of the season. The Panthers really showed the depth of their new squad by having 38 bench points and shooting 45% from the three-point line.
Monday night's performance is really setting the tone for the Panthers, with the Panthers hosting their first home game of the season tonight. High Point and Averett have only matched up 2 other times during the regular season, with their last meeting in 2016, where High Point won 74-41.
Ready to tell us more? Let's hear from Brian and Peyton at the arena.
We are live here in the Nido and Mariana Cubane Center alongside my good friend Peyton Yaus. I'm Brian Hanway, and Peyton, it's opening night, 2025-26 season in this very arena. It should be a fun one tonight.
Yeah, it's a new season, but also a new head coach for the Panthers in Flynn Clayman, taking over for Alan Huss. And our very own Jordan Bankson had the opportunity to sit down with Coach Flynn on Thursday and talk about his expectations for this upcoming season.
The past 2 seasons as associate head coach, you led the offense, right, in top 10 efficiency in the nation, according to the official NCAA website. What goes into your offense? What were the key factors in your offense to lead us to both top 10, to lead us top 10 in both years?
Yeah, I mean, first you got to have great players. You know, there's no magic way to fix that. So we have some really good, talented players, and then from there, we try to teach them about shot selection. What are shots that lead to high points per possessions? And then really the most important thing that people, it's not super exciting to people to hear this, but the amount of skill work we do. You know, we show them the shots we want them to shoot, but they got to make them at a good percentage. And we spend, I would say, an unusual amount of time on that in our practice. I think a lot of colleges focus on the play they're running and who their opponent and what they're doing. I think it's so much more important that guys are making threes, making layups, making free throws. You know, I mean, and not turning the basketball over, like have a good handle on the ball, not having silly turnovers. The difference between, you know, I was talking with my staff about it this year, like we jumped from year 1 to year 2 in three-point percentage, just that factor. We had other factors that made our offense good, but we jumped from about 250th in the country to in top 50 in the country in three-point percentage last year. Well, the difference in 250th and top 50 is 3%. You know, that's 3 out of 100 shots going in. It's that big of a difference. Yeah. And if we improve 3% more, we would go from like 45th to 1st. So you can't tell me that guys getting a ton of extra shots isn't the difference. You know, you can get a play to get a guy wide open, but if they can't make the shot, you're not going to have a good offense. So we try to focus on getting good players, teaching them good shot selection, and focus on the skill work to make the shots. And really, it's a simple equation, but the daily grind of doing that is monotonous and boring.
Thanks, Jordan. High Point had a very big win against Furman on Monday, Peyton. 97-71 was the final score, but it was all Rob Martin. He led the way for the Panthers with 22 points. Owen Aquino contributed on all phases of the game. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And then off the bench, Conrad Martinez put on a show in his High Point debut. The transfer from Arizona had 17 points off the bench, and one of the returners, Terry Anderson, had 12 off the bench as well. This team is deep, athletic, and they play really good defense. So tonight, Peyton, can we expect that same outcome tonight?
Yeah, Panthers really have to lean on that bench. They have a very deep bench, like you said. Guys who can put up double figures coming off the bench, those 6th, 7th, and 8th men. But, I mean, we can't talk enough about this defense, right? They forced 22 turnovers on Monday, had 17 steals, so looking for them to have another big performance in this game.
Well, that'll do it for us here at the arena. We'll send it back to the studio where Camden Hurst and Gab Rapper take you through the rest of the show.
It's homecoming, it's the home opener, and the Cubane Arena is set for tip-off at 5 p.m. tonight, streaming on ESPN+.
This is an exciting squad that we are ready to follow all season. Thanks for tuning in to Panther Pregame. Once again, I'm Camden Hurst.
And I'm Gabriella Radburn.
Go Panthers!